It's the Blue Jays This Week vodcast. Ben Ennis, Mike Wilner, back here at Closed Roof Rogers Center for the start of 3 games against the New York Yankees. Hello, Michael. How was your trip to Houston?
Houston was, the ballpark was lovely.
You didn't see much else? You got to see Alan Ashby.
I got to see Alan Ashby, which was awesome. But Friday night, after the Friday night game, stay behind to do the Blue Jays talk. Tom Young's gone. He's on the team bus back at the hotel. And I'm all by myself at the ballpark. And Gregor Chisholm, who writes for MLB, was still there. We're staying at the same hotel, and he says he's got 45 minutes of writing left, so forget it. So I look at the AP writer, a lovely young lady from Houston, and I said, so what do you think? Am I taking a cab or am I walking? The hotel, I should note, is 6 blocks away.
I've been in Houston, so I know what you're about to say.
Am I taking a cab or am I walking? And she said, I don't want your death on my conscience.
Yeah.
Take a cab.
Yeah. My wife is from Houston,
yeah.
And we were just driving down the highway, and we happened to see a shootout on the side of the road.
Lovely.
Cops and a guy. So, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And Saturday night, we walked back to the hotel, 3 of us in a pack.
So you're safe. You're a pack.
Mid-walk back to the hotel, I get a text from Barry Davis, Sportsnet's fine reporter. Barry Davis says, you know that pizza place across the street from the hotel where we were going to go after? Yeah, 2 guys just came out of there in handcuffs, so I don't think we're going to go. But lovely suburbs.
Yeah.
And a very nice ballpark. It was great to see. Ashby's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Ashby's the best.
Yeah, America.
Yeah.
The baseball wasn't so great
There's a lot
for the
of
Toronto.
America down there. That's for sure.
The Toronto Blue Jays go 2-8 on that road trip. Let's start with the Yankees, who they get for 3 now as we're here on the Monday. It's freaky. I mean, you look at the worst team in baseball, they're not going to lose as many times in a row on the road against their divisional rivals. I mean, get completely swept in a season series in the Bronx.
You know the last time the Blue Jays lost 2 4-game series to the same team in the same season?
I have heard it, but I forget.
1978. The Milwaukee Brewers did. Now you don't play 2 4-game series against teams every year.
No.
But seriously now. 0-10 at Yankee Stadium. They led in 8 of those games. It defies logic, especially when you consider the fact that when they play anybody else in the major leagues, the Blue Jays and the Yankees have exactly the same record. One would think that would mean they'd play each other even, but to be thoroughly dominated to the extent they have, it's more than embarrassing.
But it is confusing. Do you? I mean, I tend to think of most of the season, maybe not entirely, but a lot of it has a fluky aspect to it. And maybe if you played this season out 100 times, it would turn out this way. I would say less than 10.
I think so too.
Do you think that's fluky, the way the Blue Jays have played in the Bronx against the Yankees?
I think anytime you go 0-10 against a team, it's a fluke. Absolutely. Because like you said, even the worst team in baseball is going to win more than 20% of the time. And it's going to eke out a little win here and there, especially, to have the lead in 8 of 10 games and lose them all.
It's the guys that were beating them, Jason Nix, Vernon
Chris
Wells.
Stewart. I mean, you look at it, in that doubleheader, the Blue Jays got swept in the doubleheader against the Yankees. They lost 8-4 and 3-2, I believe. The 8-9 hitters in the lineup were 7 for 13 with 5 runs scored and 5 RBIs. To have the bottom of the lineup perform that way is absolutely a fluke. They're still full measure for the loss. I'm not saying they shouldn't have lost those games, but yeah, there is a fluky aspect to this whole thing, and I'm with you 100%. If you played this season over 100 times, 1,000 times, the Blue Jays are going to be in a playoff race well over 95% of the time.
Yeah, maybe it's not quite that high, but
the crappy part of it is
there's a lot of them.
Well, yeah.
This is not a half-hour podcast.
The standout crappy part for me is that over the course of 20 years, a team is going to have a year where things just come together. No one understands why. You win games you're not supposed to win. You wind up either making the playoffs or making yourself a real honest-to-goodness threat.
Is it 20 years?
It just happens. And it hasn't happened for this team in 20 years.
In 20 years.
Well, it hasn't been 1 year.
I like to play the sob story, but then there's the Pittsburgh Pirates, who haven't had a winning season in 20 years.
Yeah, but they've also been consistently terrible.
Yeah.
And, never expected to even be mediocre, right?
This team.
The Kansas City Royals had a year like that. They had a year where they were in first place in September, I think, and wound up well above 500, but not making the playoffs. And they've been horrifying. It
We're
usually
still paying
happens.
for those 92-93 seasons, I guess.
Yeah, we
didn't bank enough karma.
That's right.
I don't know what it is.
Baseball gods did not enjoy a north of the border World Series.
I guess. One thing that has been consistent, if not the Blue Jays play, it's Brett Lawrie's play at third base, and he is the subject of our Ford Leaders in the Field segment.
Ford Leaders in the Field. Presented by the 2013 Ford F-150, Canada's Player of the Year for 47 years running.
Brett, we've seen you not just on this road trip, but all season long make some spectacular plays at third base. We know you played second base. Didn't maybe get the run that you would have needed to get comfortable there, but how much of a comfort level exists at the hot corner for you?
Yeah, I enjoy it. I've been doing it for a little while now, so I got a pretty good feel at it. Started off in AAA and then, just playing the game. Whatever it's hit, it's going to get the ball. That's about it. I mean, I don't really know what else to say.
That's kind of the story of this road trip, though. I mean, when you look at the things you did coming in on the slow rollers and making a throw and going far into foul territory, and then another play where you wound up flat on your stomach behind the pitcher's mound, it seems like on the left side of the infield there's no place you can't get to.
Yeah, I know. It's just, I had a few different balls hit at me, choppers and some hard ones and some to my right. Just trying to take care of the baseball. That's the biggest thing. Get it in my glove and then, try and make as good a throw as I can. It's all about taking care of the baseball and just try and get it in my glove. And once I get that, then obviously just trying to make a good throw across and try and get him on a good play. So.
You're in control when you appear to be out of control as well. There was one play on a little chopper that you charged in, made the throw, and when you let go of the ball, I thought this is going to be 15 feet over Edwin's head, and it was right in his glove. How do you manage to be so, I don't know, to remain in such control of the baseball when you look like you're just going all out to get a play done?
Yeah, it's reps. It's reps. But I mean, that's the speed that I play at. I mean, I have a good infielders have a time clock, a body clock. You know who's running, you know who's not running. So you know when you got time and when you don't have time. In that situation, I knew that I didn't have a lot of time because how far I had to run to get it. So I knew I had to get it in my glove and get it out as quick as possible, without being out of control. That's basically what it is. It's all about time clock, getting the ball in your hand and trying to make as good a throw as you can. And hopefully, if you do throw one in the dirt or whatever, hopefully he picks you up. But, for the most part, just going out there having fun and just whatever it's hit at me, just try to make a play.
How much do you pay attention to the highlights around the league? And we've seen Manny Machado make some great plays at third base in years past. Scott Rowland, maybe one of the best third basemen defensively of all time. How much do you look at those highlights and the replays and almost judge what you've done against them defensively?
I don't really look at it like that. I look at it if we won the game or we didn't win. I'm just trying to do whatever I can to help. I like that fun out there. I like taking hits away from guys when I can, making a good play here and there. But it's all about making the routine play and, try to make the good one when you can. And, I had some balls hit at me. Unfortunately enough, I made a couple good plays. But, you're kind of always worried about the next play. You make that one and then you just know that at some point it's going to be hit at you again. So you kind of lift up the rug and you brush that one under and you get ready for the next play because, the ball's always going to be hit at you and you always got to be ready. So.
Yeah, you came up as a catcher. So do so many prospects. It seems like everybody comes up as a catcher. Carlos Delgado, yourself, you move all over the diamond, but now you seem like you're a mainstay at third base. Is there anybody in Major League Baseball, maybe in history, that you've modeled your game defensively? Everybody talks about Brooks Robinson. I don't know if that's before your time. Scott Rowland, somebody I'm sure you saw a lot of growing up. Is there anybody you model your game after?
When I was younger, I watched guys play. I watched the plays that they did and tried to emulate the plays, like Jeter's jump throw in the hole. When he used to do that when I was 12, I'd go to practice and try and do that. So just things like that. Not necessarily saying I'm going to try and be like this guy, but I mean just the plays that they made and stuff like that. That's what I try to do. And I just let my athleticism play. I just go out there and just get ready to rock every pitch. I just set up where the catcher moves a little bit, and I just always keep my feet moving. I'm never stuck flat-footed. I'm always keeping my feet moving. And just try and make as good a play as I can.
You use the word athleticism, and we've seen nothing but that ever since you got here. Does it amaze you, and I don't know how much you pay attention to that, but when you came over from the Brewers, there were people who supposedly knew what they're talking about. This guy's going to wind up stuck in right field because he's an arm, but there's no position for him.
Yeah, that's what everybody always said. He doesn't have a position, he doesn't have a spot to play, but that's one of my biggest things is that I take pride in my defense. I take pride in all that because everyone said that he doesn't have a position. No, I do have a position, third base, and I try to make as many plays as I can over there, make the good one here and there, but obviously make the routine play, double plays, all that stuff comes into factor. But to all those people that thought I didn't have a position, promise you I do. So,
thanks a lot for this, Brett.
Yeah, thanks.
There he is, Brett Lawrie. He's pretty good. Also, stuff. He's
But
really
what we didn't bring up
defensive.
too is how spoiled we are in this division now. You mentioned Manny Machado, but Evan Longoria too. And then
Alex Rodriguez,
There
Will
are
Middlebrooks.
3 of the most ridiculous third basemen in the major leagues are in the American League East, and they're all
Machado's going to be a shortstop
They're all
eventually.
kids. As soon as J.J. Hardy moves out of his way.
Yeah, J.J. Hardy's been very good for them. But it's not just with the glove. Brett Lawrie doesn't want to talk about the hitting because he's hitting so well, and baseball players tend to have a little bit of superstition
And
about
really,
it.
he'd had enough of us by then. No?
I don't know. I think he likes me.
Yeah, he
Maybe
might.
you.
I
can
saw
see
a
that.
little look there that he enjoys
all right.
you.
Yeah. Okay. But the hitting has been spectacular recently. He's legged out a bunch of infield singles, which helps. But he's got
crushed ball. Hit the train tracks in Houston.
Yeah, that's
He went on
far.
the train tracks.
It's very short to left field. But yes, hitting the train tracks is good.
Yeah.
No, it's very good. He's a good baseball player.
He's a very good baseball player. And 3 weeks ago, everybody wanted to trade him.
Was it 3? Okay,
I don't want to say
4.
everybody. Most Blue Jays fans.
So we're done with Brett Lawrie to second base, right? Forever?
Oh, but here's the thing, though, and it remains a thing, is that you are supposed to have more touches as a second baseman, and you want your best defensive players to be up the middle. But he is such a difference maker at third. And on the other hand, to play John Farrell here, because there's 7 sides to every issue. But on the other hand, at third base, he's taking away doubles. At second base, he doesn't take away any doubles. So watching him play, I don't understand how you would ever want to move him off.
Yeah.
But don't you always want your best defense up the middle?
Yeah, but there's definitely more of a risk of injury playing up the middle and running into those double plays and some cleats and whatever. What about the young kids? Seen Kevin Pillar for a little bit. He's starting to get that average up. It's creeping ever closer to the Mendoza line. First home run. Took a while to get it, but it did end up with his first home run.
a week.
No, I mean,
it took 10
was
minutes. Yeah,
reviewed.
it's the longest home run, longest trot ever.
Yeah,
the
really.
first home run.
And Ryan
I would like
Goins.
to make fun of him for that.
Is it Goins or Goins?
It's Goins, like
Okay.
Goins, gone, which I plan to say if he hits a home run.
Hopefully that'll happen sooner rather than later. Now, Pillar is a guy who's hit at every level in the major leagues.
Yep.
Goins, you look at his minor league track record,
Nope.
I think he's a career OPS of 600, 650 type guy,
Yeah, because he doesn't have power and
But
he
he can
doesn't
play
get on base
shortstop.
particularly well.
which is not a good combination.
No, it's not.
But he's looked okay.
But you know what he could wind up being is he could wind up being Meister Sturz with better defense. I can't see the numbers off the top of my head. I don't think he strikes out a ton, but I could be completely wrong on that one. But
if you can play shortstop as well, you've got a better shot of being on a major league roster.
he's looked good at second base. He can play shortstop if he has to. He can hit for a reasonable average. And I think you're in trouble if Ryan Goins is your starting second baseman next season.
Not ideal.
But you're also in trouble if Meister Sturz is your starting second baseman next season.
Yeah, which leaves the door wide open for the Blue Jays second baseman
Robinson
of the future.
Cano.
Yeah. No, sure. I'm sure they'll outbid the LA Dodgers for him. That shouldn't be a problem. He's Mike Wilner. You can follow him on Twitter at Wilnerness590. I'm Ben Ennis. You can follow me on Twitter as well at BennisSnet. We'll see you next week.